Hi again then guys, and so we've got another PP specific circuit setup for you today, and this time it's another requested tune, a 600 PP circuit setup for the Audi TTR DTM touring car. Now I'm using Racing Soft tyres, but of course everyone has their own personal preference there. As far as ride height, we've got that on 55 front and rear. The springs we've actually rounded down to 1375 and 1475 to soften up the ride. The dampers and anti-roll we've got on 4, camber on 2.5 degrees. You don't actually need it to be that high technically. I've done that to give the car slightly heavier steering than you actually need, just to make it kind of an overkill in terms of good handling. So you can actually reduce that down to 2 degrees or even less if you want the handling to be a bit more sharp. We've got neutral toe. I'd recommend doing the gearbox last on all of my tune setups. And in the case of this car, I would recommend an auto setting of 205. And as far as the individual gears, we've got 3.6, 2350, 1725, 1325, 1050 and 850 with a final drive of 2.8. For the diff, the lowest initial torque, highest acceleration, and on this particular one we've got a braking sensitivity of 10. I would encourage you, like with the camber, to play around with that and find what works best for you. For the power, we do have an oil change on this one, and I've gone for the high RPM turbo and then reduced it down to the 600 pp level, and of course the maximum downforce for the majority of tracks. So that's it for the tune setup. Now let's take it out to the Nürburgring to see what it can do. Now, as I mentioned, this car is a very strong all-round touring car, but kind of an underappreciated one. You don't see a huge amount of people using the TTR, but it's a very good machine, alongside the A4, which I would technically say that the A4 is an even better touring car than this one. But for those who do decide to use this car, it certainly is a very competitive machine. Now, as I said, I've kind of overcompensated in the case of this car with camber and the braking sensitivity, so I would encourage you to play around with those to find what works best for you, because with this current setup the car is fairly heavy in terms of steering, and I've deliberately done that so that the car is quite universally friendly for people who don't like cars that slide around all over the place. So if you would like the car to be a little bit more leery, a little bit more loose, and a little bit more professional really, then reduce that camber down a bit and also loosen up the braking sensitivity as well. But overall, if you decide to use this tune, it's definitely a highly competitive car, and I hope you enjoy it. And if you're new to the channel and would like to keep up with tune builds like this, or have specific tunes that you'd like to request, put that in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and as always, thanks for watching.